There's an awesome sword you can get in Avowed known as the Last Light of Day. It is very easy to get pretty early on in the game, and it not only deals awesome fire damage and just looks awesome, but it even heals you at the same time. And today I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get it in today's video, as well as an awesome fire dagger too called Sheathed in Summer that is even easier to get your hands on too. So without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it. Now firstly, we're going to start off with the sword, as that is the most time consuming quest, but it's also very much worth it, and it's not that hard to get at all. Plus it comes with a pretty fun little quest line. Now you want to start off by heading to this location on the map called the Pilgrim's Path. Obviously if you haven't been there yet, you won't see the name on the map or anything, but all you need to do is head over to this campsite that you will definitely get to from the main story, pretty much the second mission in the game, once you get to an area called the Strangle Route. And from that campsite it is very easy to get there. Now you'll just need to head along this path, and it is very hard to get lost once you're sort of on that path. All you need to do is just keep on following the very clear direction that it will take you. You will come across a few enemies, but just take them out, and once you have taken out a bunch of those enemies, namely a bear and a bunch of Zorops, then you know that you're on the right path. And not too far from those enemies you will find this area where you can find two NPCs standing there talking. This is where you can essentially kickstart the quest line. You can either talk to them to actually start that quest, or literally just walk past them and into the cave. I didn't know you needed to talk to these guys, so as you can see I just ran past and they kind of say like, hey, come back here, but nothing really happens. And then eventually as you get through this cave area, the quest line will just start anyway. So it's up to you guys how you approach that, but either of those options will do. Now once you are inside the cave, from here it is pretty much as simple as following the quest line until the end, but keep in mind there are a few places here that you can actually pretty easily get lost. So for those who just want to do this without explanation and you want to experience all of this for yourself, feel free to just use the timestamps below and click ahead to where I talk about the dagger. Or for those who don't want to get lost, then definitely keep on watching. Now the quest involves finding a missing expedition team within this massive cave, and it's going to take you probably around 20 minutes. It's not that hard to do at all. Now, if you just stick to the right side of the cave area, keep in mind it's fairly linear, so it's very hard to get lost in here, even though it kind of feels like a bit of a maze in there. Eventually, you'll come across a few different enemies and some smaller, like tighter areas to get through. And then after that, you will make it to an area where you meet a character called Cademan. Now, he's actually been poisoned, and so you'll need to talk to him and you need to get a bit of info from him. But if you just give him a health potion, he will talk to you right away. Though, in fairness, this is just the way that I did it. I'm pretty sure with the help of this video, you might not even need the actual information from him. So if you're really low on health potions, you can probably just kind of run past this guy, to be honest. But yeah, that is just the way that I did it anyway. Now, after speaking to him, you'll just need to head further into the cave system until you come to this area where you'll see this strange golden dude called Sargamus standing in the center. Go and talk to him. I'm not going to spoil any of the story elements here because it's actually pretty damn cool, this little quest line. So I won't touch on that at all. Just have a chat to him, and then he will give you his own mission to go and retrieve a relic for him. Once he's given you that quest from this exact area, you just want to head straight up these stairs. I actually got sidetracked around to this side area thinking it was going to be something hidden, but it just leads to the exact same area anyway. And then once you're in here, you just head right down here into the water, and eventually after swimming around for a little while, you'll come out to the other side. Keep in mind there are quest markers, so it is easy enough to get through here just because it kind of shows you where you need to go. There are a few different groups of enemies throughout this little section of the cave as well, so just take them out. And after you take out, I believe, the second group of enemies, you will come to this broken staircase. All you need to do is just jump up there and keep heading straight into that area, and you'll find the relic that Sargamus wants you to find. Now once you have that, you will need to find the expedition team too. Keep in mind these are actually both optional, but I do recommend doing it because it's a pretty cool little storyline here. And so right after you fight off these enemies that are actually protecting that relic, you'll eventually just need to head back out the way that you came. But as you go out there this time, it's actually been flooded due to a certain part of that storyline. Once you climb over this tree root over the water, if you jump over here, and then you can see on the right here, jump up onto these couple of ledges here, and then when you see this purple glow sort of coming from the ground, you just want to head under this rock and down into the next hole, and you'll find what is left of the expedition team. This is kind of the main area that you can get lost because it's pretty damn easy to miss that area. And again, I don't want to spoil any of the story elements, so I'm not going to show what's in that little hole, but yeah, jump down there and it will all be revealed to you. Now, after that, all you need to do is actually just return back to Sargamas and obviously handle the questline however you guys want. There are some sort of big twists and turns throughout it, so handle it however you feel is best for your character and your playthrough. But as far as I know, you do need to kill Sargamas to actually get the sword. So you'll pretty much just need to talk to him. I think you could honestly just attack him straight away as well. He is pretty easy to kill even in the early game, so don't worry about him being too hard or anything like that. And once you take him out, you will get your hands on the Last Light of Day. It's a really good sword that, like I said, not only just looks awesome and deals some solid fire damage, but it also heals you as well. Now, before we get on to the dagger, if you guys are interested in more Avowed content and you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is plenty more content on the way, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, lastly, for the little dagger that I mentioned, which in my headcanon goes as a matching item with this sword because they are pretty much identical, both flaming weapons obviously, and this one is also pretty easy to get. In fact, it is a lot easier than the sword that I just went through. So from that same camp that I mentioned earlier, all you need to do is head to this area called the Godless Ruin. It is not too far away from the camp at all, and you will find a bunch of enemies outside here. Now, if you're very early on in the game, this might be tough. I died here 2 or 3 times way before I got this footage, sort of just happening to walk past this area very early on in my playthrough. So keep that in mind, but once you're leveled up a bit, it is pretty easy to take them all out. There are a bunch of different brutes with ranged weapons and stuff like that, and that's where it can be a bit tricky because you're kind of fighting one enemy and you'll just be taking damage from other areas. But in terms of getting the dagger, all you need to do is take out the leader called Octave the Firebrand. He's actually kind of a mini boss because he does have the big health bar, and it is simply found on his body when you kill him. Just keep in mind that his friends will obviously keep attacking you even if he dies, so it is best to kind of just take them all out and then you can pick it up at your own leisure. This is a really fun little dagger. I don't generally tend to use daggers in games like this. I'm more of either a sword person or like a magic. If I'm going to use a melee weapon, I generally don't use daggers, but I've been using this quite a bit since I got it, and it is really fun to use. So if you prefer a really aggressive playstyle and you don't want to run a shield or something like that, it can be really good paired with that Last Light of Day sword that I just ran you guys through, or it can even be really useful, for example, with a wand, so you can have magic and melee combat as well. So definitely go and grab this. It honestly will take you a couple of minutes if you can manage to kill these guys easy enough, and it is absolutely worth getting your hands on. But that is it for both of those fire weapons very early on in Avowed, guys. Like I said, you could probably get both of these within like an hour or two. Playing this game, it might be a bit harder to kill the enemies when you are a lower level like that, but technically speaking, you can get them essentially as soon as you get to the Living Lands from that sort of tutorial section of the game. Like I said, if you guys are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is plenty more content on the way. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.